Hello! Welcome to my channel. My name is Kiwi. If this is your first time, welcome to my channel. If not, welcome back. Today's video, we're going to be talking about my nose job, my rhinoplasty, whatever you would like to call it. I have two other videos, or maybe three, I believe, on my nose. I believe I made a video, I have a couple actually. I have a video of previous surgeries I have gotten and why I decided to get my nose done. And two, I have the entire first week, I believe, or maybe the first month of me getting my nose done, and then I have a 3-month update, and then this is the 1 year. I didn't do a 6-month update because I didn't think it was going to be that important, and I didn't have that many there wasn't a lot of differences or changes or anything went down in the swelling at 6 months. It kind of happened around 8 months. So I decided just to wait the whole year and make it. Another thing I want to point out is that I'm a lot farther than 1 year. I think I'm at 1 year and 4 months now. Also, another thing I want to point out before we get into this video is that I did get my septum pierced. So slight swelling in the tip of my nose. Over time it will go down, but it's honestly probably not even that noticeable to you guys. I look at my nose all the time, so I think the swelling is just mostly going to be me noticing that it's going to go down. But overall, this is the end result of how my nose looks. I do have makeup on, and I do have pictures and all of that with and without makeup, because I know people notice that I started contouring my nose differently, and also that people want to see without makeup, obviously. So yeah. Before we get into this video, please refrain from commenting or asking about price, doctor, or anything like that. I have videos dedicated to this. Please watch my previous videos, because in this one I actually won't be talking anything really about how I went out my way to find a certain doctor, which doctor I went to. I will put my doctor down below in the description, but I won't really go into detail about why I picked him, or why I did this or why I did that. I will talk about certain things that we talked about before surgery, because I have some questions in my Q&A for today's video, but other than that I won't really do it. Price, I forgot how much I paid for it, but I did have a whole video going through the price and everything like that, traveling costs, surgery, everything that you need for aftercare, what I used for aftercare. I have a whole video of literally day one, a vlog series of day one going through all that. So please watch those. But overall, I'm going to be giving you guys an update on the changes at 1 year and the final result, my nose, and then I'll be going through the Q&A. So let's get into it finally. I'm so sorry. I feel like I always have to do that in the beginning of these videos. And yeah, so I have all of that out there and everything, but I haven't really talked about this one thing that happened recently. Before I got my septum pierced, I was at 1 year and 2 months, I think, and I have this habit of reaching for septum jewelry even when it wasn't pierced. I was just where is it? Because I had it for so long that it was just a habit to go at it and pull on it, because when you have a short septum, you always want to tug at it. It's just this weird comforting feeling. It feels so good. But do not touch your jewelry. That is nasty, that is gross, I will point that out. But I would always go for it, and then one day I just I grabbed my septum and I pulled down, and I shit you not, I heard and felt a snap in my septum. And I know for a fact it was on this side, and I guess there's sutures in there still that are kind of just holding everything together. But at 1 year, you're totally fine. You don't have to worry about that. I emailed my doctor and was hey, had a something pop in my septum. I'm assuming that it's a suture, just because I kind of know that feeling. And they said it was fine, totally normal. I'm way past 1 year, and it's just for the healing process for everything to stay formed. Then kind of think of it as a cast of just forming, and then after that you don't really need it. A cast is kind of a bad example, but you kind of get what I'm saying. It was fine, and that I can go ahead and get my septum pierced. So that was that whole experience. When the suture popped, it only hurt for like 2 days. So far, that's like the only weird thing that's really happened. Other than that, I believe on the lower left side, the lower left nostril, like right on the rim, I have a little scar there that is not like from the surgeon whatsoever. He did an amazing job. It was totally my fault, but the scar is slowly going away. Basically what happened is just a natural reaction of like, oh, my nose itches, and I scratched it. And that was around like a couple months of healing, and my nose didn't like it at all. So it just started like scarring right there. And after that, I like never touched it ever again, but I'm at 1 year now and the scar is starting to go away slowly, but it's definitely a lot more noticeable on this side. So I just want to point that out and just say that that's not the surgeon, that's my fault, but I know over time and how my body scars that that scar right there will go away. I also use bio oil on the scar on my septum and on the nostril. This nostril is like absolutely perfect, but this one has this little like bump, this little scar bump, but that'll go down throughout time. So yeah, I believe those are the two major things where people would want to know like specific things of like, hey, I heard you talking about this on Twitch of like a suture popping, so I want to know more about that. That's perfectly fine. And then the scar, that's my fault. So when you're first kind of healing, like the first couple months, I feel like the swelling goes down really on the sides. So it goes from like this like wider nose to like thinning out, and then later on it ends up thinning out this way, if that makes sense. For makeup, I changed a lot about how I contour my nose. I really only put highlight like right above the tip of my nose, so it gives that like little button nose look. But other than that, I keep it fairly normal. I don't really contour my nose that much anymore, and it makes me so happy. I feel really, really grateful, and just, I don't know, getting my nose done was such an amazing thing, and I definitely like recommend it to people. If you've completely thought about it, thought through it, you're not worried about it, I highly recommend just getting it done. It's amazing. My confidence has definitely gone up so much. I can easily go outside of my house without makeup on. Whenever I have nose projects for piercing, I'm just happy with how it's gonna lay on my anatomy, and that's kind of diving back into why I got my my nose done in the first place. I keep on saying septum, sorry. But that's why I got it done in the first place, is like the nose project that I had, like the piercing project, it wasn't laying right because of the way that my nose was shaped. So that made me pretty upset because I take my body modifications pretty serious, but other than that, the tip of my nose was mostly cosmetic, and I didn't like how it had that arch on the sides of my nose, so that was a really big reason of why I was going into surgery as well. So it was like cosmetic and then body modification goals, like up here, cosmetic. So yeah, and then I got rid of the droop, which allows me to get my philtrum done if I want it now, which is super awesome, because when my nose was hanging so low before, I was just like, I can't get my philtrum done, it's so low. My septum driller would like hook onto my philtrum and just a lot of stuff. So overall, getting it done made me really, really happy. So happy. I think that's everything I have to update you guys on. I do have before and after shots if you want to see it right here. do have a really big part of this video, which is the Q&A. I wanted you guys to ask any questions, and you guys actually gave me some really interesting ones. Once again, if you need anything about price, doctors, or anything like that, please go watch my other videos. There's so much information compacted into that. I highly recommend it. I put so much effort into those nose job videos. So yeah, we'll just go ahead and get into the Q&A now. I'll also just bring up topics that I want to during the Q&A. But overall, I think that's everything that I wanted to talk about. Septum wise, I think I'm gonna make a dedicated video on the septum piercing with having your nose done, because I can't even describe how different it is this time. It's very different. We're gonna talk about that a little bit in the Q&A though, so let's just get it over there. Notice any changes other than outward appearance? How long before you can get pierced? And what advice would you give to people who want to get one? So the first part, outward appearance, other changes, definitely the way that I act. I don't hide anything, like I said earlier. I waited a year before I got pierced as well, and my advice would be the doctor. Who you pick, that is like the most important thing in all of this. Definitely recommend my doctor. The style of noses that he does is the style of nose that I wanted. I just think they're all super adorable, and I wasn't expecting on loving my side profile so much, and now it's like the favorite part of my nose. Before I didn't really like think I was gonna care that much about it, but like I was mostly concerned about the tip. I do like the tip of my nose, but my side profile is 100% like my favorite part of my nose. But yeah, biggest thing you want to do is the doctor. Really look into the work that they do and everything like that. To touch it, or is it the same? Have you lost any feeling? You don't have to say sorry if it's a dumb question. It's totally not a dumb question. Numbness, I can feel everything, like every little place on my nose. Even the tip of my nose, I can feel all of that. Now, the best way I can describe my nose is that it's hard. I don't know if that's gonna change like way later. If so, I'll probably like comment about that, but that'll be like years from now. But like I said earlier, the tip of my nose is still like hard, but I think that's because I got so much work done on the tip of my nose, because just everything was like modified in the tip of my nose, and they need to like move things around and have like support in the middle, so there's a lot right there on the tip of the nose that is just like holding it together. So I'm not too surprised that it's harder. It's just to keep that structure. But when you touch other people's noses, like it'll like bend in. And I try describing this to people all the time, and they'll just like, I'm sure some people are doing it watching this video, but they'll like squish on the tip of their nose, and then like when I do it, it doesn't move at all. Like, that's the most it does. Did you know you were absolutely sure about getting the surgery? If it bothers me for so many years, and it's on my mind for so long, that's when I start considering it. If you watch my video on my other surgeries and why I was getting a nose job, that one I go into great detail about it, but I definitely knew when it was like popping up all the time and like my insecurity was taking over in a certain way. I'm 100% for like, you can get over insecurities. You don't need surgery, 100%. But I'm also really into body modification, and when it kind of tied in with my piercings, then I was like, I'm willing to do this for cosmetic reasons and for my body modifications. So that's when I kind of like switched over to be like, I'm serious about this. And I wasn't new to plastic surgery at that time. It's still body modification to me. So it's not like that weird of an area for me, but it is something to really think about. The first process you want to do is love yourself and like really think about it. And if you can overcome that, then you're good, then you're okay, and you got it, you're awesome. If there's that area where you're like, I can love myself either way, but I know that I would just be happier if I got it done, then it's kind of like, okay, you went through this part, I'm gonna kind of go over here and just consider like actually getting it done. I hope that makes sense. That's the best way I can describe it. Anything that you would do to change, or if you could go back, or that you would do again? The things that you would do differently or you wish you were more aware of before getting it done? Not really. I researched it a lot, so getting into it perfectly fine. I knew what I was getting into, watched so many videos about nose jobs. There's not a lot on YouTube, so that's why I started uploading mine, is because I was just like, oh god, people don't have this kind of like information. So honestly, I knew everything that I was getting into. The only thing is, like, you do get really dizzy on painkillers. That might just be like a me thing, but that was probably the hardest thing for me. It was just like the dizziness from the painkillers. I wouldn't really change anything. I'm really happy with how the entire process went. I know I made a little mistake of like itching my nose, and I have that little scar now, but that'll go away, so I'm not too mad about it. But other than that, really nothing I would change. I'm very happy and content with it. It's not like super perfect, but it's a face, you know? Faces aren't super perfect. And I like how like it just suits me. It's natural looking and it just makes me happy. So yeah, wouldn't change anything. For my nose job, this question doesn't really go with it. It is about when I'm gonna get my high nostrils re-pierced again. I do have my highest ones, and I'll be getting the other ones later. It's more of like a money situation right now than anything else. I can do it right now. Honestly, I would just wait like a year before getting anything done on your nose though. Always talk to your doctor about that. That's another thing I want to talk about. Before getting my nose done, I talked to my surgeon a lot about all the piercings that I had, about all my concerns. I told him multiple times, I was like, I definitely 100% plan on getting my septum pierced after. I will keep the jewelry small, I won't stretch it or anything, but like that is something that I am very concerned about, and he took note of it. So I'm really happy that he took that in consideration and listened to me and understood my priorities, which is a septum piercing. Anyway, so yeah, definitely communicate with your surgeon about that. I'm not going to talk too much about the septum piercing, but I will bring this up. How did it get getting your new piercings after the rhinoplasty? Okay, so I also went to like a way better piercer this time, so my high nostrils, like, easy, so easy. The easiest thing ever. Like, before, it was rough. It just feels like a normal piercing. Even my septum feels normal. Really good, easy stuff. Is there any swelling or scarring? Yes, I will put this up once again. On my septum, I do have that, and I'm pretty sure most people have that little scar, but it does go away after time. Me with my jewelry piece, it hides it, so I don't have to worry about it. And then I do have that little scar that I talked about because I itched my nose. 10-11 mark, would you say that your nose was completely healed with no swelling by that point? Definitely not. I still had changes like a year and 2 months out. I was still noticing changes with swelling on my nose. And my nose, everybody's nose, is not healed until after a year. So you have to wait a whole year before it's healed. And this question I actually really like. I didn't think about this. Would you say your sense of smell is better, worse, or unchanged? My sense of smell is actually the same. I really like that question, because it's something that I wouldn't think about. But yeah, smelling, completely normal. The amount of boogers that I have on my nose, I would say are normal again. Now that I have high nostrils, if you have high nostrils, you know, some boogies get snagged on it. So overall, I would say that's the same. For a little while, I also think it's where I live that kind of contributes to this. It's very dry in New Mexico, so my nose would bleed a little bit, not like an actual nosebleed, but like when I would clean my nose or like my high nostrils sometimes, I would notice that like I had some dried blood in my nose. I'm like, okay, that's not from my piercing, so that's clearly just the weather, and my nose is a little bit more sensitive to it. But I think that's really just based on where I live and not my nose job whatsoever. The breathing is the same. I would really say it's the same. I got this for cosmetic reasons, and none of it was really like medical or really anything like that. I didn't really modify my like entire septum or like moved it at all because of like one nostril being like super big or like slanted or anything like that. It was just purely for cosmetic reasons. So my breathing is basically the same. Why it sounds stuffed is because I have metal in my nose, and soon I will have more metal. So it's kind of always gonna give me that like kind of stuffed noise, but overall I can breathe perfectly fine. There's not really a difference in that. Another thing that I was asked before, I believe, is my taste, because the sense of smell definitely changes the way that things taste, or like enhances things, but everything's the same. So yeah, all good to go. Like function wise, everything is good. Yeah, just the appearance is the only thing that was really changed with. Another thing why I say researching your surgeon is really important. Apparently, there are surgeons out there that take out certain parts of your nose that have a function that shouldn't be taken out. And yeah, really research your surgeon, because they will take out certain things in your nose that you might need. Like some people can't like produce boogers or have moisture in their nose because their surgeon took out that part. I want to say it's like, oh, this might be so wrong. Turbines? Turb something? But I really looked into that, and it's only surgeons that are like old school that I've seen. It usually doesn't happen, but it is something to look out for. Yeah, just look out for that. The biggest thing I can tell you about this whole video, the one thing that matters most, is who you go to. And that is with like most body modifications, piercers that you go to, tattoo artists that you go to, that will always mainly affect the end result that you have. But yeah, just really look into the surgeon. I 100% love my surgeon. If you're kind of looking into somebody that does noses in a certain style, then definitely look him up. This one. Aww, from a baby. Okay, I have always wanted nose surgery, but I'm scared that I will look different. Or once I look different, I won't feel like me anymore. How long did it take to adjust to how you look now? I remember this moment, and this moment will forever be burned into my brain, and it makes me so happy. I like think about it all the time. And this is how like much getting my nose done meant to me. As soon as I got home from Arizona, I was like exhausted, and the only thing I wanted to do was shower. And like, this is gonna sound so weird. I remember getting ready for my shower and just kind of like, I had like barely any makeup on. It was like no foundation on my face whatsoever, anything like that. I only had like eye makeup on. And I was looking in the mirror, and it was so strange. Like I saw my face, but the center of it was like different, but it made me so happy. Like I just felt like me, like cute, like a little button, like I felt like me. And it, like, I genuinely just felt like that insecurity leave within the first week, and that was the best feeling ever. That insecurity just like left. Taking off the cast was really great. Seeing that slope, I think right there in that moment I was just like, oh wow, that's so strange. It's more of like a numbed out feeling when you take off the cast. Some people like get really emotional and cry because they're so happy. I haven't really heard anything about someone like not looking in the mirror and not like recognizing themselves in that moment. I will say there was one time when I was walking past the mirror and I saw like I saw me, but like to me it seemed like somebody was walking by, and I was like, oh, there's no one behind me. I was like, that was me walking past that mirror, because my side profile is so different. And I was like, oh, that's so strange. And I took a moment to like go back to that mirror, and I was like, oh my god, that's me. It's like the nose changes so much of your face. It's right in the middle. So when you change it, I will be honest, it kind of just changes everything, like as a whole. Like it just makes everything like harmonize. That's the best way I can put it. I'm not trying to like scare anybody with this, but like when you change your nose, it does change everything. And I've had people comment that to me quite often. They're like, they'll just tell me like, it really has changed your whole face. But I still see myself, and over time I start to see like my lips again, but my lips, my top lip looks so different with my nose, and I can see like my eyes again, but like right here on the center of my like nose and like how my eyes meet, like that's a little bit different. It's just like where your parts meet with the nose, and that's where it changes. But overall everything is the same, but like it's the center of your face. Or I've also had people like my dad react. I got my nose done and he was just like, can't tell the difference. Like he just never knew what my nose looked like. One thing, if you have the skills, I would recommend photoshopping. What I do, because I don't know how to Photoshop, is I would do like a side profile, but I would make sure my background is black or white, and I would take like a white like pencil and like some editing program and like kind of like shape my nose to how I wanted it, so I knew what it looked like. It's just like from the front, you're not really able to do that. So it's like, if you can't Photoshop, then you don't really get an idea. Hopefully this answers your question or told you a little bit about my experience and other people's reaction. But yeah, overall it is also for yourself, so keep that in mind. But yeah, I believe that's everything for this video. Hopefully this is good enough. I've been really stressed about this video because I wanted to make sure that it was like everything in this and it was good for you. So hopefully your questions got answers, and check out the other videos. I'm still getting used to this coming back to YouTube thing. Anyway, I hope you guys have a wonderful week, and I will see you guys next time whenever I come back. Also, if you guys want to see a video about what I eat throughout the day, I can do that. Also, check out my Instagram, my Twitch, all that fun stuff. Okay, I'll see you guys later. Bye!